Raise your hand if you've ever wondered why some women look polished in a $50 dress, while you feel awkward in expensive pieces that look perfect on the hanger. Today, we're ending this cycle forever by revealing the body shape secret that will transform how you look at your wardrobe for the rest of your life. Hi, I'm Anna Rova, and I'm a certified personal stylist who works with successful women who feel completely lost when it comes to their wardrobe. And after working with hundreds of high-achieving women, here's what I discovered. Your visual presence is either supporting your success or quietly working against it. In this video, I'm showing you a complete body shape system that will instantly elevate how you show up, whether you're at work, social events, or just running errands. This isn't just about identifying your body shape. It's understanding how to dress your unique proportions so that you feel as put together on the outside as you are accomplished on the inside. You don't need to buy anything new to implement this system, but you do need to stop making the critical mistakes of buying clothes that do not fit your unique proportions, making you feel frumpy or like you're trying too hard when you just want to look effortlessly polished. By the end of this video, you'll have a complete understanding of your body shape and a foolproof strategy to eliminate morning stress and always look intentional, no matter where life takes you. And before we dive in, hit that subscribe button because I show up every week giving you amazing styling strategies so that you can look as successful on the outside as you are on the inside. So before we start talking about identifying your body shape and how to dress your body shape so you always look amazing, we really need to talk about the fact that every single body is unique. And so if at any point in time when we talk about all of these subjects that are related to body shape, you feel uncomfortable or quite sensitive, please take a moment, pause this video and come back to it later. The conversation about body shape, especially when we start like measuring our bodies and looking at inches or centimeters, can be quite sensitive because so many women are obsessed about how their body looks and whether it looks good or not, and they're hiding in their clothes and so on and so forth. And so know that I'm here to tell you that whatever we discover today, whatever you find out, I really invite you to look at this with curiosity and know that your body is how your body is. Every single body is unique and different. And so your job is to actually love the body that you have. And I know saying that love your body as it is when you have perhaps something in your body that you don't like or even hate is quite challenging. But I really, really encourage you to at least start this process now. Now, I got to tell you, I've worked with hundreds and hundreds of women, and especially when I guided them into their bodies when I was a feminine embodiment coach before I became a stylist. And I can tell you that every single woman, including me, has something about her body that she doesn't like, even models. Like I've worked with so many women and I've talked to models and I know that every single woman has something about her body, whether it's her, short breasts like myself, whether she has short legs or whether she's petite, that's me. I struggled with acne on my face for more than like 15 years. And so many women have that, but you do not know about it. So you sit there thinking about, extra pounds around the waist or hips or whatever. You're the only one who's dealing with this problem. That is so not true. If you really openly start to talk about women and ask them about what do they think or feel about their bodies, everyone will tell you that there's something that they're always trying to fix or something they're always trying to work on. And the amazing thing about style and clothes is that we can use clothes to actually create this Photoshop effect, so to say, which I always call illusion dressing, that really creates the effect that you want to create. And that's why talking about body shape is really important, because once you know your unique proportions and what is your body shape, then you can really start to use clothes to actually work for you and to actually make you feel the way you want to feel in your body, whether you have small breasts or big breasts, small bum or big bum, whether you have acne on your face or your face is super clear, whether you have a short torso or long torso. So like there's a million variations that you might be telling yourself about your body. And I just wanted to let you know that before we dive into this video, it's really important that you look at this simply as information. It doesn't mean anything about you. My intention here with this video is to share with you some tips and tricks of how you can start to feel even more amazing. But your job as the first step is to really start to create this relationship with your body, because your body is everything you've got and your body's going through a lot every single day. And so whether you had children and have that extra weight or whatever the reason is for whatever you feel that your body is not okay, the minute you start to accept and love your body and then dressing it accordingly, everything will change. Let's dive in. So step number one is to identify your shape. Now there's two ways to go about this. Number one is to take measurements around your body. And number two is to look into the mirror or take a photo of yourself. Now, if you are quite sensitive about like measurements and the weight and you're really tracking your weight or you're trying to lose weight or you're trying to gain weight, I'd probably recommend that you go with the first method. Simply because the first method is all about observation, right? So what I really recommend is you wear dark clothes. So either all black or actually you can also wear all white. Just make sure they're all one color and they're quite tight, and look into the mirror. So you can either just simply observe or you can take a photo of yourself into the mirror. Now, I encourage you to take a photo of yourself, like when you stand in front of the mirror, making sure that your phone is on the same level as your chest, like here in your solar plexus. The reason why is because if you take a photo of yourself in the mirror from a different tilted angle, too high, too low, or tilted, it's going to distort your body proportions. Now, take a photo of yourself, or when you observe yourself in the mirror, look at the proportion of your shoulders to your hips and to your waist. That's all that we need. We need 3 points. You can even draw a line, you can print it, or you could actually do it digitally. Draw a line between your shoulders, the width of your shoulders, between your waist, which is the narrowest part of the body in most body shapes, but sometimes not, and your hips. So once you identify that shape, we're going to move on to step 2. Now, let me explain how to measure your body. There's 4 measurements that you need to take. Number 1 is you measure your shoulders on the widest part of your body, make sure it's flat, and measure your shoulders around your shoulders. Just take a measuring tape and put 1 finger under your measuring tape just to make sure that it's not too tight. And so just look down or take it off and write down the measurement. The next thing is to measure your waist. And how you measure your waist, or you know where your waist is when you lean to the side. Your waist is actually the narrowest part of the body in most cases, but if you have a shape that your waist is actually not the narrowest part of the body, that's okay. Then you can lean to the side and identify that point where your body cuts in half. You'll see that point here, which is the narrowest part. So put your measuring tape around the narrowest part of your body and also measure yourself. And then the same thing with hips. Usually where your pubic bone is, this is the widest part of your hips. And so measure yourself around your hips with a measuring tape. Now, also measure your bust. Measuring your bust does not really affect your body shape, but it's very, very helpful when you are actually buying clothes online. I had a client that I worked with that really loved that body hugging style. And when I was working with her one-on-one and I was looking at her clothes when she was trying them, we were doing her wardrobe edit, I noticed that her clothes were really too tight. And so when I was shopping for her, recommending clothes that she should buy for her body shape, so on and so forth, I was looking at her measurements, and all of her measurements actually, including the bust, because when you're shopping online, they actually show you what your bust is, especially for tops and so on and so forth. And so what I realized is when I was looking at her measurements and looking at the size chart that every single brand has, and by the way, they're all different across brands, so make sure you do that. But I realized that she was a size medium. When she told me, when she filled in the questionnaire when we worked together, that she's a size extra small and small everywhere. And so that's why her clothes were actually too tight. So it is very, very helpful to know your measurements, especially when you shop online. But of course, we did this exercise for the purpose of identifying your body shape. And by the way, if you are also looking for one-on-one help in terms of your style and body shape and everything, there's a link in the description below where you can find out more about it and book a call with me. Okay, let's move on. Now, after you've either measured yourself or took a picture of yourself, it's time to actually identify your body shape. Traditionally, there's 5 different body shapes that are used in classical styling to identify those body shapes. And they're like usually shapes or fruits and whatever. I don't like that classification. So I'm going to talk to you. I'll still mention it to you so that just in case, you watch other videos or you read or you see some Pinterest pictures so that you know what I'm talking about. But the one most important thing that I want to tell you before we go forward is don't allow for these labels to actually put you in a box. Because first of all, everybody's different and unique, and you actually might be between 2 shapes or 3 shapes or all 5 shapes. But it's very, very helpful to know the classical rules or the foundations in order to break them. And before we go on with this whole video, I just want to tell you that knowing these foundations is really important, but then you go ahead and break the rules. I do this all the time. Even though I'm petite and have small breasts, sometimes I wear shirts that are quite bulky and make me even shorter, but I really like the style and I like how I feel in it. For example, I have this pink oversized, basically it's a men's shirt that looks like a dress. And I wear it and I love it on days where I just feel like I don't care or I want to make a statement. Know this. You have to be equipped with knowledge, but then it's totally up to you on how to use it. Okay, let's move through the 5 different shapes. So the first shape, which is the most kind of attractive shape for a woman, it's the most balanced, it's the most proportional, is the hourglass shape. Hourglass shape is, as I said, the most kind of classical woman shapes where, so again, when you take your measurements and when you look in the mirror, in fact, I think you should do both, keeping in mind that we're not attached to the numbers, is when your hips and your shoulders are the same width, so to say, or the same circumference, more or less, and your waist is actually the narrowest part of the body. So it creates this kind of 2 triangles together, which is why we call it an hourglass shape. So the characteristics for an hourglass shape are that you have a fuller bust. As I said, you have a well-defined narrow waist. You also have balanced proportions between your shoulders and your hips. You have a rounded bottom and you have a curvy body. And a celebrity that really exemplifies this hourglass shape is Sofia Vergara and Tyra Banks. I'm only mentioning these celebrities because there's a ton of pictures of them online. So you can actually go and look at their shape and actually how they're dressing to best benefit their bodies. And of course, celebrities pay thousands and thousands of dollars to stylists. So there's something we can learn from that. Okay, so the next shape in classical terms is a rectangle shape, which means that when you look at the ratio of your shoulders to your hips to your waist, it means that your hips and your shoulders are the same width, but the waist is not that defined as in an hourglass. It's actually wider, and it's almost as wide as your shoulders and your hips. That's why it's called a rectangle. So some characteristics for these shapes are that you have a small or average bust, you have an undefined waist, which we talked about already, you have straight hips and bottom, not so many curves, and then again, aligned shoulder to hips ratio. And some celebrities that have that shape is Cameron Diaz and Kate Moss. So you can go ahead again and take a look at what they're wearing, how they're wearing it. If you have that body shape, it's very helpful to look at the celebrities and how they're wearing it. Okay, so the next shape we're going to talk about is the pear shape or the triangle shape. And this is actually the most common shape among women. And this shape is characterized by the fact that your shoulders are narrower than your hips. And that's why it creates this triangle or the pear shape. So some of the characteristics for this shape, again, are that your shoulders are narrower than your hips. You have a bit of a smaller bust. You do have a well-defined waistline, and you have full hips and thighs, and you have a rounded bottom. Women with a pear shape or a triangle shape say that they're heavier on the bottom, and you can really feel it. Like whenever, for example, you buy pants, they might feel tighter even if it's your size. You feel always tighter at the bottom. Some celebrities with the shapes are Marilyn Monroe, Beyonce, Kate Winslet. Again, please look at examples online. I'm going to show you some on screen, how celebrities really rock their shape and how they dress. So the next body shape is what is called in classical styling inverted triangle. And why is that inverted triangle? Is because your shoulders are narrower than your hips. So this is characterized by little to no waist definition, and you have great legs. This shape has amazing legs, so make sure you use them wisely. And normally these women also have an athletic silhouette. You see either these women have built into that shape because they work out a lot, or obviously they were born like this, but it's really your arms are like your greatest asset in your shape. And so some of the celebrities that have that body shape are Naomi Campbell and Charlize Theron. The last body shape here is the apple, again, another fruit. The apple shape is normally characterized by their waist being actually the widest part of their body because they carry more weight around their waist. And by the way, most women become an apple shape as they age. So again, your shape can also change through life. In 5 years' time, you can actually change your shape because of where you carry the weight, or maybe you exercise a lot and so on and so forth, whether you have babies, right? So the apple shape usually has a bit of broader shoulders than their hips. And again, they carry most of their weight around their waist. And so therefore their shape is becoming like that. And so normally this shape has really good legs that they need to show off and an average bust. And some of the celebrities that have that shape are Catherine Zeta-Jones and Octavia Spencer. So I really recommend you go ahead, go on Pinterest or anywhere you want to look at photos online and really see how these women dress. Now in step 2, we've actually identified the horizontal body proportions because we were looking at how is your body proportionate in terms of horizontal lines across the shoulders, across the waist, and across your hips. Now in step 3, we need to identify how is your body proportioned in terms of vertical lines? Now, I got to tell you that in all of my stylist training, I have never been taught this step because it is not as important as the body shape step, as we talked about before, but I still find it's really helpful because as I started to create videos, I got comments on my videos. Women were saying, I have a long torso, I have a short torso, so high-waisted pants don't fit good on me, and so on and so forth. So I did some research, and I realized that indeed, for some women, understanding why, for example, high-waisted pants that I recommend to everybody do not look good is really important. So let's talk about that. So the vertical proportions are basically identifying how short or long is your torso. And when we talk about torso, it's literally the part of the body that starts from your shoulders to your hips. And so there's a really simple test to identify whether you have a short or long torso, and it's called the hand stacking test. So basically what you do, you take one of your hands flat and you put it under your bust. And so after you put it under your bust, you take your other hand and you put it flat below or under that first hand. And so as you stand tall, and you're going to do this standing. And so as you stand tall and you put these hands on top of each other, you basically look at in the mirror, you look at where is your belly button. If your belly button is completely covered by your hands, you have a short torso. If your belly button is just at the line of your second hand, congratulations, you have a balanced torso. And if your belly button is underneath so you can see it in the mirror fully, it's underneath your hands, that means you have a long torso. So let's talk about if you have a long torso, what do you do? This means that your legs are short. This means that if you want to create the illusion of appearing more balanced, we can use clothes to actually create that balanced proportion. Then you want to appear taller with longer legs. So for these ladies, you actually want to wear high-waisted pants because when you wear high-waisted pants, it creates this elongated look. There's many other tips and tricks that you can use. For example, monochrome looks, meaning that you wear the same color or the same tones of the same color, for example, from light red to dark red. They elongate your whole look. You can also wear, for example, shoes that are the same color of your pant. You can also elongate your look. So anything that you can do to elongate your legs, that's for you. Now, if you have a short torso and your legs are really long, high-waisted pants are not going to be good for you. Neither crop tops are going to be good for you like they are, for example, for women who want to elongate their legs. So your best choice is to go for normal-sized waist. So not high waist, but normal-sized waist. And sometimes if your legs are extremely long, you can go for low waist, although I don't really like low waist. Another way how you can shorten your legs is to create horizontal lines. So for example, you would wear tops, blazers, so on and so forth, that actually end on, not on your waist, but end on your hips. Same thing goes for example, bags or basically any sort of embellishment that you want to add or you want to create. But bags is the best way to actually create a line like that as well. So when you wear a bag, make sure you wear a long bag that ends again on your hips. You can also use this with color. For example, when you want to, for example, again, you wear a blazer that ends on your hips, and then you wear a contrast color blazer to your pants. So basically divides your body visually at the point where the blazer meets your pants or meets your skirt. Hopefully that makes sense. So step number 4, I want to talk about some extra factors that might be impacting how your shape looks or how you think about your shape. And the first one is actually your posture. You might be surprised, but for so many women who do have a bit of a belly or a lot of a belly, your posture affects how that belly is actually shown. So it's really interesting because so many women and so many of us, because we sit all day and because we basically are not taught how to stand and sit properly or how to maintain our posture. So when you stand up and your pelvis is actually not tucked in and your body is not standing straight, your belly will stick out more. And so why I'm mentioning this is because when you look in the mirror and you're like, oh, I've got this huge belly, and you're standing like this, it can actually distort the proportions of the body. Or you might think that your body shape is actually not an hourglass because you have this big belly, where in fact it's not true. So when you take your images or when you look at yourself and try to identify your measurements, and even when you measure yourself, make sure that when you're standing, you actually tilt your pelvis forward so that your belly is not sticking out. That's the first thing. And the second thing is body fat distribution. So I was actually talking on a call with a woman from my styling membership community. By the way, I have a styling membership community that you can join where we talk about all of these things. We can ask me any of the questions. I also have a foundational style course where I walk you step by step on how to identify your style, your colors, your styling outcomes, your body shape, and so on and so forth. We also do twice a month calls where I give you feedback and really talk through any of the issues that you have. And I share incredible shopping guides there that are related to seasons or body shapes or silhouettes. And anyways, it's an amazing community of successful women. Link in the description. I had to plug it in here before we go because I started talking about it. Anyway, so coming back to this call, one woman came on the call and she was asking me about, well, I'm very confused about body shape because is it really the bones and the skeletal structure, or is it really about where I carry the weight? When I think about this, I think about your skeletal structure. Actually, it doesn't matter, because if you have gained a lot of weight and your weight has gained around your waist, and when you look at your body shape, you see that you're actually an apple shape, which means that the widest part of the body is your waist, then it actually doesn't matter what your skeletal structure is, because you're going to have to use clothes to dress for that shape and create the illusion or work with those proportions. Or if you tend to gain weight around your hips, then that obviously will make you more of a pear shape because you're not going to gain more weight on the shoulders. Does that make sense? So how your weight is distributed impacts what your shape is. And as I said, as we go through life and we might gain weight or lose weight, that will also impact your shape. But again, remember how I said, none of this is good or bad. It just is what it is. So wherever you are right now, I invite you to start to dress for your body now. Do not wait until you lose 10 pounds in the next 6 months. Do not wait until you gain 10 pounds in the next 6 months, or do whatever. Dress for your shape now because it's going to impact everything. Do not wait 6 months to look and feel amazing. All right, so now we come to the most important part of this video, which is step 5 of how do we actually dress the body shape that we have. So let's go through all the steps first. So first of all, we've taken the measurements or looked into the mirror to actually see what our proportions are. Step 2, we've identified what our body shape is. Step 3, we talked about how you stand with your posture impacts it, and also how you gain weight around your body also impacts your shape. And now we come to the point where we actually learn how to dress for that body shape. Before we go into how to dress for every shape, I want to tell you that the most important principle that I've learned as a stylist, as I went through numerous hours in years of training, is, again, knowing this body shape theory is very important. But what I do with my clients, I don't go in first and say, what's your body shape? Let's dress for that. I actually ask my clients first, to look in the mirror, and I give you this exercise right now. Pause this video, go to the mirror and look at yourself. And when you look at yourself in the mirror, and it would be nice if you wear something that you really like. When you look at yourself in the mirror, identify 3 to 5 things about your body that you actually like. What are your best attributes? What are your best features? So I'll give you an example. For me, what I really like about my body is actually, I think, and all that matters is what you think, right? What do you believe about your body? I have really nice collarbones. I really like my shoulders, and I really like my arms. And I really like my waistline. My strategy, and what I teach all of my clients, is to actually dress and highlight your best parts. So what I do in most of my clothing, and if you look at all of my videos, this is what obviously you don't see the bottom part of my body, but it's very representative actually, because whatever I highlight these parts. I wear things that accentuate my shoulders. I wear things that accentuate my waist because I know these are my best parts. So what are your best parts? And forget all this body shape stuff. You could actually stop this video right now because I've already taught you everything you need to know. It doesn't matter what your body shape is as long as you dress your best attributes. Because when you're going to start focusing on what it is that you love about your body, you start to dress for those parts of the body, you're actually going to stop putting so much focus on what it is that you want to hide. Most women, when they dress their bodies, they actually look at what it is that I want to hide. And by doing so, most women unintentionally actually draw even more attention to that part of the body, and then it looks terrible. So that's number 1. Now that I've said that, let's go through all the body shapes so that you can, equip yourself with this knowledge. But then again, you can break all the rules. So let's talk first about the hourglass shape. And again, I want to remind you that the hourglass shape is actually the shape that has shoulders and hips the same width, and then the waist is the narrowest part of the body. So you have 3 styling goals here. Number 1 is to highlight your natural curves, and obviously you're going to have that curve along the waist and along your hips. Your goal is to maintain proportional balance between your hips and your shoulders and draw attention to a well-defined waist that you already have. You're going to rock in all of these shapes. By the way, how we dress is we rock what we've got and we accentuate something that we want to put into balance. So what works well for an hourglass shape is scoop, sweetheart, halter, or V necklines, something that I'm wearing right now. Wrap dresses or tops are really amazing because, again, they accentuate the waist and they also add that curve to your body. High or mid-rise trousers or skirts. So I always opt for high-waisted because they really accentuate your waist. Bootcut or straight leg trousers are really good because, again, they accentuate the body curves, and belts or garment details that enhance the waistline. So as you can see, everything that I'm mentioning is all about drawing the gaze down the figure and accentuating your curves and accentuating your waistline. Things to avoid: make sure you avoid low-rise trousers, avoid high necklines. And the reason is when you have a high neckline, your gaze is not drawn down across your hourglass shape, but it draws actually the gaze up. You don't want that. Empire cut tops and dresses. So basically your waist, you bring the waist up because, again, it accentuates your curves. And volume enhancing details such as ruffles or embellishment and straight boxy lines, oversized clothes, because, again, all of these create volume that you don't really want, and they basically disfigure or change your silhouette, which is something that you also don't want. Okay, so the next body shape we're going to talk about is the rectangle. And I want to remind you that the rectangle is where your shoulders and hips are actually the same width, and you don't have a pronounced waistline. So your waistline might be as wide or closer to the width of your shoulders and hips. So your styling goals here are to actually create those curves, to create the illusion of a well-defined waist, and to accentuate your legs and arms, because you probably have really great arms and legs. So what works well for the rectangular shape is off-the-shoulder tops, scoop and round necklines, skinny or tapered trousers, although I gotta tell you, I have a big problem with skinny, but probably this shape is one of the only shapes that can actually wear skinny, although in 2025, no one wears skinnies. But if you love them and you love how you feel in them, rock your skinnies. Next one is body-hugging garments such as pencil skirts. Although I got to tell you about something about pencil skirts. No one wears pencil skirts anymore, simply because it's an outdated office look. So if I were you, I would opt in for skirts that are a little bit more modern, that have a little bit more definition or a little bit more of volume, so they're not as body hugging. Next one is jackets that finish at the hip and shape the waist, cropped trousers, belts or garment details that accentuate the waist. So again, here it is all about creating that illusion, defined waist, and getting more and more towards the hourglass shape, where obviously your shoulders and your hips are already the same width. So all you got to do is make sure that you dress yourself in a way that defines the waist and creates that illusion of an hourglass shape, which is pretty easy to do. Now, what to avoid? Avoid square necklines, crop top, drop waist dresses, straight fit dresses or skirts. straight boxy and oversized garments, which drown the silhouette. And the next shape we're going to talk about is the inverted triangle, where your shoulders are wider than your hips. So your styling goals here for this shape is to balance shoulders and hips by adding volume to the lower body, create the illusion of a well-defined waist, and showcase your legs, because you probably have some great legs. So what works well for this type of shape is blouses and tops with U, V, asymmetric necklines, jackets that extend beyond the hips, wide leg, flared culottes or tapered pants, dresses with pleated skirts and paneled waists, and full flared or pleated skirts. So again, what works well for this shape is when you need to draw much more attention to the bottom of your body to create, again, that balance and create that illusion and define waist and showcase your legs. Now, what doesn't work well for this type of shape is heavy detailing prints and thin straps on top, because obviously you don't want to accentuate the top, you want to accentuate the bottom. Tight-fitting skirts that hug the hips, or skinny fit trousers. That is not your go. And the next type of shape is the inverted triangle, where your hips are actually wider than your shoulders. So styling goals for this type of figure is to enhance the waistline. Please note that in all of the shapes, we are enhancing the waist. In most of the shapes, we're enhancing the waistline. Add volume to the upper body to balance your shape and to minimize hips and thighs. So what works well for this body shape is boat, cowl, wider V or scoop necklines, high-waisted skirts or trousers, A-line dresses and skirts, cap sleeves, flat-fronted trousers, and wide leg or straight leg trousers. What to avoid is bias cut dresses or skirts, baggy tops or tunics, drawing attention directly at the hip, pencil or tube style skirts, low-rise trousers, and skinny leg trousers. And the last body shape we're going to talk about is that apple body shape, where your waist is actually the widest part of the body. Now, your styling goals here are to elongate your torso, draw attention to the legs, because you probably have amazing legs, create the illusion of a waist. So pay attention here. I didn't say define the create definition here, accentuate, but create illusion of a waist. This is the only body shape where it's not recommended that you wear high trousers. And opt for structured pieces that create definition. So what works well for this body shape is V-necks and wider necklines, empired cute tops and dresses, knee-length skirts and dresses, A-line silhouettes, boot-cut or straight-leg trousers, statement necklaces or earrings, and wedge shoes. What to avoid? Again, high-waisted trousers, because they accentuate the waist. You want to create that illusion and not accentuate the waist. Heavy detail and embellishment around the waist, or garments that fit too tight, for example, bodycon. And shapeless, boxy, or oversized fits, or tiered, gathered, or ruffled skirts. So now that you've identified your body shape and you know how to dress it, what I really invite you to do next to step 6, do a wardrobe cleanup or wardrobe edit, because I bet that there are things in your wardrobe that definitely don't work for your shape. So what I invite you to do is to go back to the video part where I described what works for you, what doesn't work for you on your style goals, and take a photo of that or print that or whatever you want to do, or maybe you were taking notes. And so I invite you to take all of your clothes out of your wardrobe, separate them. This is how I do a wardrobe edit with my one-on-one clients. Separate them into 3 piles. What is a yes, what is a maybe, and what is a no? And then start going through your wardrobe one by one. First, you go through your tops, then you go through your bottoms, and then you go through your dresses, jumpsuits, so on and so forth. And so really, when you have that cheat sheet, look at everything tried on in your wardrobe, and does that fit your body shape or not? For example, if you are an inverted triangle and your shoulders are wider than your hips, then look at the notes and identify, do these clothes in my wardrobe fit my body shape or not? Do they create the exact illusion that I want them to create or not? If this is a no, girlfriend, you got to put it into the no pile, and you got to donate it, sell it, or give it away. Because the whole point of this exercise is to make sure that your clothes fit you perfectly, create the illusion that you want, and work for you. Now, again, I want to remind you that if you find a piece in your wardrobe that you absolutely love, like my pink oversized shirt, that definitely breaks all the rules in terms of proportion. Probably it makes my legs even shorter, yeah? And it definitely doesn't define the best bits that I love about my body, but you absolutely love it and you feel amazing in it, rock it and wear it, because there's no fashion police here that's going to come and tell you what you're wearing is not according to your body proportions. Nobody cares about that. But that is the whole process. And have fun with it. You know, make it so that this whole process actually creates a lot of lightness. And especially when you get rid of so much stuff in your wardrobe that doesn't fit your body shape, it is going to create a lot of lightness, and it's going to make space actually for things that you actually love and want. So there you have it, a complete 6-step body shape system that eliminates morning wardrobe stress and makes you look amazing in everything you wear. One of my clients, Sarah, went from constantly buying clothes that look great on a hanger or on photos to looking terrible on her body because she didn't understand her body proportions. And after she's implemented this whole system, everyone around started asking her who her stylist was. And that is without buying anything new. She finally understood her proportions. And if you're ready to take this further, I invite you to join my styling community where you get 4 things. Number 1 is my complete style foundation system that's going to take you step by step on how to create that cohesive capsule wardrobe, from color analysis to body shape to identifying your personal style and how to put all of this together. Number 2 is you get twice a month live coaching calls with me where I answer any of the questions that you have about pieces you want to buy or how to put things together and even do live wardrobe edits. Number 3, every month I give shopping guides to my styling community with direct links of where to buy, what to buy based on different seasons, style outcomes, and even sometimes body shape. And number 4, you get access to an incredible community of women just like you who are successful but are completely clueless on how to make sure that the wardrobe fits the successful women that they are. I'm opening new spots right now to the styling community. So if this is something that you want and you're ready to dive in, click the link in the description below. This is where you'll also find links on how to work with me one-on-one as your stylist. So make sure to check that out. And before you go, please like this video and subscribe to this channel because this really keeps me inspired and motivated to keep going and show up here every week with amazing styling tips and videos for you. Raise your hand if you've ever wondered why some women look polished in a $50 dress while you feel awkward in expensive pieces that look perfect on the hanger. Today, we're ending this cycle forever by revealing the body shape secret that will transform how you look at your wardrobe for the rest of your life. Hi, I'm Anna Rova, and I'm a certified personal stylist who works with successful women who feel completely lost when it comes to their wardrobe. And after working with hundreds of high-achieving women, here's what I discovered. Your visual presence is either supporting your success or quietly working against it. In this video, I'm showing you a complete body shape system that will instantly elevate how you show up, whether you're at work, social events, or just running errands. This isn't just about identifying your body shape. It's understanding how to dress your unique proportions so that you feel as put together on the outside as you are accomplished on the inside. You don't need to buy anything new to implement this system, but you do need to stop making the critical mistakes of buying clothes that do not fit your unique proportions, making you feel frumpy or like you're trying too hard when you just want to look effortlessly polished.